So let's talk about why, if you're a D2R player, you should give PD2 a shot. So, I guess for those of you who don't know the acronyms, which I assume most of you do, D2R stands for Diablo 2 Resurrected, the remake of the classic Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction that Blizzard has generously updated with better graphics. Yay, awesome. PD2 is technically a mod for Diablo 2 that acts as if the development on the game never ceased. And honestly, in my opinion, the two don't even compare. Project Diablo 2 to me is a perfect game. I mean, literally perfect. It is the game I play, and well, that's of course why I'm making this video. But I'm going to give you quickly 5 good reasons you, as a D2R hardcoreist, should give PD2 a shot. So to start, first of all, you don't have to quit D2R. We have actually staggered our release dates around D2R. PD2 goes through 4-month resets, very similar to D2R, and we try to stagger ours in between the D2R season resets. I mean, anyone who's played Diablo over the years knows that the season resets are the reason you play the game. Eventually you max out on gear or run out of time or just patience with the build you're using, and a season reset is a good way to restart and put everyone on a level playing field. Well, you don't actually have to quit D2R. You can just play D2R and play PD2 2 months into your season when everything's dead. And most of the PD2 players do play D2R and, well, do the exact same thing. I mean, there are a few hardcore PD2 diehards like me who don't play anything else and have to stagger that 2 to 3 month dead season time with Mass Effect and everything else. But you don't have to quit. That's reason number 1. I think it's good enough alone for you to give it a shot. So, well, what more do we have for you to give it a shot? What makes PD2 so great? And I'm going to start with number 2, which is endgame. The problem with Diablo 2, and this is carried over obviously in D2R, is there is no endgame. I mean, your leveling is essentially bail runs ad nauseum, and now these silly little events they've added to D2R, which I don't think add too much. PD2, on the other hand, has maps. And maps function sort of similar to how rifts work in Diablo 3, except they're just better and, well, more balanced. And that endgame content alone is what makes PD2 worthwhile. The map diversity, the monster diversity in those maps, the ability to modify them, the ability to corrupt them, I mean, everything about it just makes it feel seamless. And on top of that, if you are a hardcore Diablo player, we do have a special D-clone fight. It's not the D-clone from Diablo 2 or D2R. It's been updated over the seasons as people found ways to cheese it. And that fight, in its own regard, is quite difficult. And then for the best of the best, the Rathma fight, which is a completely new PD2 exclusive boss fight. Completely new graphics. They actually designed this on their own and put it into the game. I mean, the thing with the end game of PD2 is it doesn't feel like a mod, and that is the most important thing for me, feeling this game. I'm a very feel-oriented person when it comes to video games, and even when I play like Skyrim or something, you know, certain mods for Skyrim, well, a lot of those assets make the game more fun. But it still feels like I'm playing modded Skyrim, and eventually, or modded Fallout or whatever, and eventually I have to go back to the original and experience it again, because the mods just sort of take something away from it. PD2 doesn't feel like a mod. That's why I said earlier it's technically a mod. It doesn't feel like it. The endgame builds for everything just feels like its own game, and it's unique in that sense. I've never seen a mod before do the original game better than the original game, and that is, I think, the most ringing endorsement I can give for PD2, and its endgame is indicative of that. Number 3 here, build diversity. I mean, everyone who's played Diablo 2 knows exactly how you have to start every season. You have to make an MF Sorc. Of course, you're the only class that has teleport, and the only class that can effectively clear the bosses. You're going to need a magic find to get the gear you need down the line. So even if you intended to play, say, Boazon for the season, you most likely have to start as an MF Sorc, which always sort of chapped my ass personally. And in PD2, you simply don't need to do that. I mean, every magic class has a teleport ability, first of all. They're not as fast as the Sorc teleport, which distinguishes it, But at the same time, every magic class, like necromancers, druids, can teleport. They either have gust or blood warp, and I'm forgetting the other magic class because I'm a little bit drunk, but don't hold that against me. Everything I'm saying is true. But either way, the magic classes teleport, and that gives you a great quality of life. Even if you're going to start with a magic find class, you have a class that can magic find effectively because of the teleport skills. Well, on its own, you're not limited to just the Sork. And even then, because of the end game system with maps and the updated map system for Season 6, which will allow for more single target focused builds to still have the same loot finding abilities with fortified maps, you can play anything in PD2. Truly anything. It's not just the fact that we have build diversity in terms of things that you can't play in Diablo 2, like a Summons On, my favored class. You simply can play anything. And it's not a game where you have a certain couple of builds that are overpowered and you must play them. Now, there are some overpowered builds like Throw Barb. That's always been overpowered. They really haven't found a way to fix it. But if you are a new player experiencing PD2, well, any Summoner class or Throw Barb or Summons On are cheap, easy, effective starters for magic finding, endgame content, really anything. You get to kind of choose your own path with the build diversity here. Do you want to go something easy like Summons On or Throw Barb, or do you want to start really hard with like a reworked Vengeance Paladin? By the way, we reworked every skill in this game, so even things like Vengeance have either new animations or new builds attached to it. I mean, it's too much to go over in a quick video. The amount of build diversity in PD2 is just insane compared to the original, and on top of that, like I said, the builds don't feel like a mod. They feel like natural things added to the game. So to move on, number 4, the community. I'm reluctantly putting this one out because I don't have the same rosy outlook every PD2 player has about the community. I've actually made several videos, and my most successful ones are me doomsaying about the death of PD2. But I have to say, honestly, I'm in the minority there. I mean, most people in the PD2 community have a very high regard for the community itself. I mean, most of the most upvoted posts on our Very Dead subreddit, for example, I mean, 50 to 100 upvotes means you have the post of, like, the month. And most of them are people talking about how someone met them in a game and gave them some free gear and moved on. I mean, people are making friends in this game because the player base is around the same age and mostly the same gender. Let's be honest, most people playing Diablo 2 are men, millennial men in their 30s to 40s. And simply that demographic alone has really brought a sense of camaraderie to people who definitely didn't have one before. Gamers are known for being competitive and toxic. And while I do have some gripes about the community and how it does things, the overall consensus, excluding me of course, is that the PD2 community is absolutely phenomenal. There are people who will help you get started, people who will get you wherever you want to go, really. Whether it's YouTubers or streamers on Twitch or just the community in general. Hell, if you probably post a game in general chat and say, hey, I need some help and figure out what I'm doing, someone will join it and help you out. And lastly, I want to talk about number 5, the quality of life. Holy Lord, guys, I can't explain to you the quality of life changes in PD2. Let's start with Quick Cast, which got added last season. PD2 now plays like a modern game. And again, this is not sort of like a thing that breaks Diablo 2. It feels seamless. So certain builds, like I said in our build diversity, that are unique to PD2, like a Curse Necromancer, didn't play very well because you have to hit that F1, F2, F3, F4, and switch your curses over, lay 4 curses, use your curse explosion skill. It didn't feel natural to the way the game plays. So when you have Quick Cast, that made Curse Mancer, for example, one of the best classes to play because it plays like a modern game. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you'd simply cast your skills. On top of that, we not only have expanded stashes, but we also have stackable runes, stackable gems, the quality of life items, in terms of the cube recipes, everything has been updated. It's too much to go over in a quick video, but if you head over to the PD2 Wikipedia page, you can see all of the things that have been added. It's not just that we've added things from like Path of Diablo, that like corruptions, for example, or Path of Exile, or wherever they took that idea from. It's that the quality of life items have updated this game to be a modern style game without sacrificing what made Diablo 2 great in the first place, which is the insane loot finding. And on top of that, people who love the grind, PD2 is sort of perfectly balanced in terms of how its seasons work. I mean, Diablo 2 was a grind fest in terms of its quality of life. That was the issue with it. I mean, the quality of life in D2 was just, well, it's something I can sign into and play whenever. And it did take a while to get to where you wanted to go. PD2 has sort of found this really perfect balance between every season where, because of the player 5 drops, everything just feels normal and natural. You can find high-level runes just running cows to start, and when you move into maps, they will drop, not like candy, but when they do drop, it's exciting, and you know, you could go 20 years in Diablo 2 and never see a burr rune. I mean, I've seen at least 2 or 3 over my 5 seasons playing. And a couple of my friends have got a little more luck than me, but eventually, if you play enough, everyone will find kind of what they want. It's just the quality of life for every season restart just outpaces anything Lord of Destruction or D2R can offer at this point. So I think this video's gone on long enough. This is meant to be quick, and I sort of rambled a bit, but really, you don't have to quit D2R. The end game is just phenomenal. It's nearly perfect with PD2. Our build diversity is nearly perfect. I mean, there's the overpowered builds aside, like Throwbarb, but hell, if you're a new player, start a Throwbarb and see how it goes, and then go hard mode next season and try something else. The community is better than average, I will say, for a gaming community, and our quality of life can't be beat. I mean, I'm not saying you got to stick with PD2 or love it the way I do, or love it the way this community does. But if you are a D2R player, you're an old guy, you're so excited, Diablo 2 is back in 2022. Man, during those dead times in your season, give PD2 a shot. I can promise you one thing. You will not be disappointed. It might not be your favorite game. It might not be the game that you want to dedicate to like I do or so many others do. But I promise you, if after that 2 months, when D2R is dead, the trading scene is gone, if you give PD2 a shot, I'm willing to bet 9 out of 10 of you won't turn back. So I hope to see you there next season, Season 6. See you guys there.